Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. That should be working now. I think I finally set up my microphone to actually work on stream. Um I also got a please raise volume. Okay. I also got a nice my friend let me a nice webcam too, so video quality should also be better. So yeah, we are here finally to react to Vaush's video, his response to my video. Oh my god, it's a doozy. Um, so I originally oh, I need to turn it up even more. Okay, I'm glad people are telling me. No problem. Maybe I need to turn up my gain on my microphone. Hello, hello. There's always audio issues every fucking time. My god, that should be better. So yeah. Um, Before we get started, though, I did want to talk about something not related to Vaush. Um, okay, that means the gain is too high now. God damn it. Fuck. Always fucking audio issues. Okay. We'll vibe with this for now. So, Stop Cop City um, is a important movement. Um, the top is fucking cut off, but that's all right. So Stop Cop City is a movement going on right now in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a protest against what they're building, which is they're cutting down a like 200-acre forest to build a giant cop training facility in Atlanta. Um, it's fucked up in multiple ways. First of all, this is an important forest that should not be touched. America has cut down enough fucking forests. There's nothing less left in terms of forests in much of America. Um, so it's a criminal. This should not happen, and this facility should not be put up. Also, of course, they're literally building like a fake city to practice like urban warfare. It's fucking insane. Um, and this is not going to make the cops better. This is not going to make the cops less fucking monstrous. No kind of reform helps cops. American cops, it's just a fascist magnet. If you can't make fascists not bad. So yeah, if there's any way you want to support or donate or help, the website is called stopcopcitysolidarity.org. Um, yeah, it's really an important movement that's going on right now, and you can directly help in various ways. There's lots of different ways. They talk about how you can take action and participate, and so yeah, any way people can participate, um, it would be really helpful. They just ended their mass mobilization that ended yesterday, but they still need help, in various ways. Um, So yeah, any way you guys can help would be huge. Yeah. Let's see. Um, it's funny because all of these fucking Twitch streamers and their clout network and all that stuff. They love to talk about how MLs are just LARPers. They don't actually care about politics. They don't care about the real world. Let's see how many times Lonerbox has talked about Stop Cop City, one of Vaush's sycophants. 0 times on his live. Let's see. He talks about Yemen all the time. Let's see if he talks about Ukraine, or he talks about Ukraine all the time. Let's see if he talks about Yemen, where the U.S. is facilitating the worst humanitarian crisis of the 21st century. No, he doesn't. Let's see if he talks about the Biden rail strike. No, he doesn't. Let's see about Shark Zero. Let's see if he talks about any of this. Biden, because Biden crushed the rail strike that was happening. He played a direct role in crushing it. Okay, so nothing about the Biden rail strike from Shark, another sycophant of Vaush. Let's see, Yemen. Nothing about Yemen. Okay. What about Stop Cop City? Let's see if he's talked about Stop Cop City ever. No. Wow. Okay. What about Xanderhall? Because these people love to talk about how, you know, all these MLs and Marxists and stuff, they don't actually care about real politics. They just care about LARPing, you know? But you'd think these guys would, like, actually talk about real politics, you know? Beyond just Republicans bad. Let's see. No. No Stop Cop City. Okay, that's weird. The guy talks about Ukraine all the time. Let's see if he ever talks about Yemen. No. No Yemen. I know he did one video about the Biden rail strike because I'm going on this all over again. He didn't talk about Biden crushing the rail strike. He just talked about the existence of the rail strike. So yeah, basically what I'm just trying to establish here, and what I'm talking about in a video that I'm making, is that these people, none of them talk about real world politics. None of them. None of them. They don't talk about any of that. Because look how few views this video got. 3.4 thousand views. None of his videos get that few views. None of them. And when I say none, I mean none of them. The most important video Xanderhall's ever made, the only actual real life video that has anything relating to the real world, got no views compared to every other video he's released. So, like, yeah. So they have no incentive to talk about this stuff because they don't get money from it. They don't get attention. They don't get anything because that's not what their communities come to it for. Vaush has made one video about it, but he also didn't get any views relatively. So yeah, they have no reason to talk about this stuff. Let's look at Demon Mama, another Vaush, another person in the Vaush Clout Network. Let's look up Stop Cop City. Nope, doesn't look like anything about Stop Cop City. Let's look up Biden rail strike. No, nothing about Biden crushing the rail strike. These are leftists, by the way. These guys are socialists, and they shit on everyone. These guys call themselves the real leftists, the real socialists. It's insane. Am I the only one who doesn't know who any of these people are, with the exception of Vaush? Yeah, good on you. Good for you. That's not a bad thing. Where did my other tabs go? Okay, I accidentally closed it.
Yeah, let's.
So yeah, I'm gonna be talking about this more in depth in another video. How these people are complete jokes. You literally just need to go on their channel and look up a topic that's real world relevant, and you'll see that they never ever talk about it. Vaush talks about this stuff a little bit because he's held a little bit accountable by people who hate him, rightfully, so he has to put up a veneer of caring. But all of his lower level people, you know, in the clout centipede, they don't need to even try to put up a veneer because no one's really watching them to, like, you know, check them. So of course they don't talk about anything real world. Anyways, I just wanted to start with that because these people are pathetic losers, and I wanted to pretty conclusively expose what pathetic losers they are. Like, the Biden rail strike was like the biggest news for a while, of, like, in terms of leftist politics. None of them talked about it. None of them. Vaush did one video on his second channel because he knows that people will call him out, and that's all he did about it. That's it. No one else even did a video about it. It's incredible. Anyways, all right. So, fellow traveler and I started watching this video a while ago, but we didn't finish it. We only got like 14 minutes in. It was really late, and we were both really pissed off, and so I thought I would I would react again. I'm not gonna start at the beginning. I made a video responding to this guy response, and I was just gonna make that video, and then I realized that people were gonna be like, "Oh, you didn't respond to this thing. You're just a coward. You don't wanna. You're just avoiding everything that he said." So I realized, I just realized, okay, well, fuck, I need to fucking just watch the whole fucking thing through, so that people trolls don't be like, "You didn't watch the whole video, you coward." Yeah, so we're gonna skip like the first 14 minutes. If you guys want to see that, you can go to Fellow Travelers stream, and you can also, and then I'm also gonna be releasing a video that addresses some of the things he says in the first 14 minutes. So I don't really need to go over that again. By the way, if anyone asks me to debate Vaush, I will ban you. I won't ban you, but don't fucking ask me to debate Vaush. I'm not gonna fucking debate him. I won't talk to him. He's a fucking scumbag piece of shit who just wants to make me look bad. He says in his response to my video that debating isn't about truth. So he doesn't care about that. He's a scumbag, and he just wants to make me look bad. So I will not ever talk to him. I won't ban you, but I will mute you for now. Yeah, and because I will not do that. Some people say I shouldn't engage at all too, like that I shouldn't in any way engage at all, but I changed people's minds with my video. I had a good impact on some people who were like convinced by my video and my arguments. So I do think there is value in responding to him. But is that it? Is that all I have to say? Yeah, I think that's about it. 1 hour of Vaush bullshit. It's the right thing to do, but I feel bad for your brain. Yeah, I mean it's mentally stressful, but I know that it had a positive impact on people. So I know that it had an influence. So like, yeah, I know it. I know it made an impact, and it didn't really have that much of an impact on me mentally. I thought it might, especially when I realized he watched my video. I was scared at first. Then I was like, no, I don't fucking care about these people. Fuck these people. Who cares? Okay, I think that's about it. Please, if you want to support me financially, so for going through hell like this, you can subscribe to me on Patreon, where you can get early access to my videos, or you can also subscribe to me through membership through YouTube, where you get, you know, cool emoticons, and you also get early access. So yeah, please, if there's any way you can support me, because I'm gonna pull the card again, but Vaush makes like fucking $1,000 every like couple hours on stream, okay? Like, he makes incredible money. I'm not making anything here, so anything you can fucking give me to support me, I much appreciate it. Because I'm not making the fucking killing he is, you know? Can we get one chemhead? Can we get a new chemhead to join the club? Purchase membership? That'd be amazing. Anyways. Alright. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. Oh, Jesus. Master debater had to say in response.
Oh, to what? Wait, to what?
Advancements that the Bolsheviks simply could not reach.
Oh, there's Fellow Traveler.
They were an agrarian peasant society where you had small-scale production, petty bourgeois mindsets, and small-scale production reproduces capitalist economic relations.
I know, excuse.
How is this an excuse? I'm providing you with
because
this was a debate I remember watching when I was still a big Vaush fan, and I was...
Wait, isn't this the debate where that guy was saying that because of revolutionary material conditions, Stalin had a right to criminalize homosexuality? Wait, wasn't that the excuse we were talking about?
Is democratic means control over the means of production. It's completely socialism.
Now look how fucking funny this is. Vaush is completely wrong, right? Vaush is completely wrong. Just, that's a totally different debate. He's completely wrong. Look at his dumbass chat. Just like, they hear Vaush say something and they're like, yep, that's true, that's true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people saying, yep, yes, no, nope, wrong. They're just so fucking dumb. Okay, Uber Comrade just asked me to debate Vaush. How do I fucking mute people? Fuck it, I'll do that later.
Of the means of production to get to a point to where you have people as direct worker owners.
Look at all the people saying yes to this. No, no, it's not.
Great deal of societal evolution and advancements that the Bolsheviks simply could not reach. They were an agrarian peasant society where you had small-scale production.
Sorry, this was him defending totalitarianism in Soviet Russia.
Petty bourgeois mindsets and small-scale production reproduces capitalist economic relations. I know, excuse. How is this an excuse? I'm providing you with because
this was a debate.
Because that is every convo on Soviet Russia with tankies, where you're like, hey, so Stalin killed 5 billion people here, and also destroyed every democratic institution, and there was no socialism ever at any point. How do you plead? And they're like, well, if America hadn't done this, then maybe he would have eaten fewer, like, Ukrainian babies. All right.
Remember watching? This guy is so fucking dumb. I love how he uses the phrase democratic institutions. He sounds like a fucking... He destroyed our democratic institutions. You can read Robert Thurston's article. What is it called? Let me look it up. You can read Robert Thurston's article, Reassessing the History of Soviet Workers, Opportunities to Criticize and Participate in Decision-Making. You can read Samantha Lom's The Stalin Constitution. You can read plenty of works from people who were in the USSR at the time who participated in democratic processes. He really thinks that, like, Stalin controlled every fucking human being in the entirety of Russia, that there was no such thing in any way as people voting or, you know, like, lol, Russia wasn't even democratic before the Russian Revolution. Like, what democratic institutions did he destroy, you fucking moron? Oh my god. But anyways, yeah, I can actually cite books talking about fucking where there were democracy. You can read Pat Sloan's book, Soviet Democracy. You can read Harry F. Ward's book, Soviet Democracy also. You can read Mike Davido's book, Working versus Talking Democracy. You can read Anna Louise Strong's book, Dictatorship and Democracy. Was it a perfect democracy? No, obviously not. Obviously there were issues. Obviously, you know, it wasn't perfect, but, like, he's just a fucking idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know. He admits that he doesn't read books. He admits that he's lazy. He admits that he has a shitty memory. He admits that, what else does he admit? He admits that he has a shitty attention span. He's a fucking, but he's so confident in himself. He's just a mixture of all the worst traits you could possibly have to be a reliable person. Yet he doesn't know what he's talking about at all. He's a fucking completely unread, unwashed dipshit. When I was still a big Vaush fan, and I was taken aback at this part. Rather than criticize Traveler...
This video duder's just anti-democracy. They're fine with totalitarianism as long as it stops capitalism. The funny thing being, again, that Soviet Russia did not meaningfully transform capitalism. That's why we call it state capitalism, right? Like, in America today, you have no democracy in the workplace. Your boss has total control over your...
Oh my god, you could literally... There was a thing called the Stakhanovite movement, especially in the USSR. With the Stakhanovite movement, the workers had an incredible amount of control over the workplace, actually. They had an incredible amount of control. They had lots of influence over their fucking workplace. He just doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know at all what he's talking about because he doesn't read. He doesn't do any reading. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything to actually read about this stuff. He just says shit and he's confident in himself. Let me bring up numerous instances of people having workplace democracy in my video. Here's a picture of people participating in workplace democracy. Here's more about people participating in workplace democracy. More about workplace democracy. More about workplace democracy. More about workplace democracy. More about workplace democracy. You don't know what you're talking about, dipshit. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a fucking liar. You're just a complete cowardly scumbag liar piece of shit. Oh, anyways.
Your working ability, and you're utterly subject to their whims. In Soviet Russia,
No!
instead, like political responsibilities are managed by, work responsibilities are managed by the state, and oftentimes, people who have work control over you also have political control over you, meaning that the consequence of losing your job is no longer just you're out of a job, it's also you've committed a crime, or you may now face investigation by the state, or because like Politburo members control a lot of this stuff, they talk with each other, and you don't have the ability to do work anywhere because you're disfavored. You're considered like subversive. The whole like you have no control.
The USSR had more fucking had almost no employment. They almost completely eliminated employment because they did. They just almost completely they had things called anti-parasitism. They were like extremely about making sure everyone was working, that no one was just sitting on their ass. Oh.
Control over where you work thing does not change under state capitalism. It's worse in a lot of ways because at least in America, if you act like an asshole at your job, then leave.
Where was the fucking state capitalism in the USSR, like especially before Khrushchev? Where were the bourgeois people being, I'm going to open a business and exploit the workers? There was no one particularly profiting off of that. There was no... People say, like, Stalin was the profiteer. He was the ultimate capitalist because he owned everything. That's fucking ridiculous. He lived a middle-class life. He died with almost no possessions. So what was he profiting off of? Like... I need to do more research into income inequality, and I know there was still a level of income inequality, like the factory manager would make more than the factory worker, but the factory manager didn't own the factory. He didn't own the fucking, means of production. He didn't profit off of that by setting his own terms of how he profited. It's just, oh my god. He just makes shit up, man. He just makes shit up.
Usually, the guy who controls your company doesn't also have the ability to just arrest you for being seditious to the state. And I think it's good to not do that. It was illegal to be unemployed.
The guy who owns the factory. What the fuck are you talking about? Nobody owned the factory. The state owned the factory. And if the state, you can say a state pretends to represent the people, but if there is no one personally owning the factory, no one personally profiting off of the factory, how is it a fucking... Oh, man.
In the Soviet Union? Yeah, that's like total employment, right? And they sure did ship a lot of people off the same period, yeah. Was there even a large amount of worker control of their work, like co-ops or pseudo-co-ops, anything resembling unions? Nope! Lenin disbanded the worker councils the first day he could. Literally, Lenin's first nanosecond one of the new Soviet Union, he hits the big red button that ends worker control, like, immediately. Now, come on, even you have acknowledged the USSR had a number of positive economic ideas better than that of America. Yeah, but not about the power relations. That's worse than America. In every imaginable sense, the power relations in the Soviet Union were worse than America in terms of the control you had over your life as an individual proletarian.
He's such a fucking idiot. He just doesn't know what he's talking about. He just doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He just makes shit up. And he's so bold and so confident and so completely unimpeachably sure of himself. He can just say shit that isn't true. The party elite earned like 5 times more than the average worker, I think, compared to 21st century capitalism, where the disparity is in a factor of hundreds. I don't know when that time was, but yeah, I mean, there's no fucking compare. He's saying that people in America have more control over the workplace than in the USSR. That is not fucking true. That is not true. People so often could vote out the main person in charge. My God, do I have to go back to the video and point to you all of the screenshots of academic works talking about this? It's like, it's just insane, man. Oh. Also, the USSR fucking founded the idea of the 8-hour workday. They literally founded the idea with the Savnarkam Decree on the Hours of Labor. But, man, oh my God.
There were things in the USSR that were better. Lower rent costs, certain state offered guarantees. Healthcare was worse broadly, but there were groups that had access to it that wouldn't have in America due to economic barriers. There was like a broad push for like gender and racial progressivism in some areas at some points in time that were not adhered to very like consistently. I mean, you might have gender egalitarianism in the big cities, but
he says that very like in some areas, in some ways. No, it was the most fucking radical and emancipatory and progressive movement to make the other ethnicities of the USSR equal pretty much in history. No one did what the USSR did with the minority ethnicities. I also talk about this in this fucking video, where people were emancipated to an extent that's never been seen before. Terry Martin writes in Affirmative Action Empire that the USSR was the most affirmative action positive fucking country in the world at the time. And he's a Harvard historian. He's not some fucking random crack. He's a fucking Harvard historian. You had to be like, there was a big thing about anti-Russification, about making sure that the people in charge in their countries were not Russians. There was a big thing about promoting their cultures, letting Ukrainians write literature in Ukrainian language, letting all these people from all these places write and do art in their own language. Later on, things did deteriorate. Things did not became less progressive, especially, of course, with the deportations that happened out of fear of people collaborating with the Nazis, which were a mistake. That was not a good decision. But overall, the USSR was very fucking progressive in terms of how it treated its ethnic minorities, including post-Stalin, including under Khrushchev. There's a reason there were no major like racial wars or rebellions, and things only fucking collapsed when Gorbachev came to power and said non-socialists can run, and then the non-socialists were the ones that started to stoke racial and ethnic tensions and nationalistic tensions to help make the USSR collapse. So actually the USSR did a very good job of holding things together for as long as they did, because we saw what happened the second Gorbachev let capitalists run for power. We saw what happened, how the USSR fucking collapsed. Yeah, Stalin literally wrote, the thing that put Stalin on the map and made him popular was the work Marxism and the National Question, where I haven't read the whole work, but he talks about all the time that every country has its own right to self-determination and all that stuff. So yeah, it's just not true to say that there was no like fucking, it was like this very minor thing. It was not. It was a very major thing. Anyways. I don't know everything about the USSR, so I can't, like, respond perfectly to every single fucking thing he says, because unlike him, I actually want to read and learn about this stuff, so I can't just say blah 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 blah. You know, like, I have to actually learn this stuff. For him, he doesn't need to learn or know any of this. He can just say whatever the fuck he wants, you know? Vaush loves Gorbachev, by the way. Oh, I'm sure he fucking does. I'm sure he loves Gorbachev.
But the rural areas were not even remotely. I mean, it's a mixed bag. You can learn interesting stuff from the Soviet Union, but it's not good. You know, it's not good. Yeah, there was a workers' opposition inside the Bolshevik Party against that, and most of them got killed in the Great Purge. Yeah, interestingly, most of the people who really valued worker democracy in the Bolshevik Party were killed by Stalin, you know, shortly after he took power. I'm sure that was a cool...
Did you just hear what he just said? Shortly after he took power. This guy doesn't know anything he's fucking talking about. The Great Purge happened in 1937. Stalin gained his position of power in 1923. That was when he first became general secretary. He consolidated his power, and by consolidating his power, I mean people literally just thought his ideas were better than Trotsky's. He consolidated that power by around 1928. So he didn't kill them instantly after coming to power. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He just doesn't know the timeline at all.
All right, okay, we're pulling back. We're not doing a whole research stream right now. Just it's goofy goober bullshit, you know.
What he said, rather than provide counterpoints and debate the facts, which is what Vaush talks about all the time, is debating the facts, showing evidence. Vaush just says excuses. That was all the master debater had to say in response.
No, it was like a 2-hour conversation. Did he really clip out a bit where the other guy talked for 30 seconds and then I said excuses, and then it immediately cut off, and it's like, was that all he had to say? He must have ended the call immediately after that, you know.
Vaush was... I talk about this in my video, but, like, Vaush does not answer that at all. He doesn't talk about specifically how Fellow Traveler was talking about the material conditions in the USSR, how things were not perfect and all that. He doesn't talk about that. He starts talking about how Napoleon was a socialist and all this shit. But Napoleon was a socialist by FT's argument. He goes on this long fucking rant that's, like, incomprehensible. I highly, highly recommend everyone watch the Fellow Traveler debate. It's very funny how bad Vaush looks. Educated on this time period, he could have said something in response to this, right? Like, dishonest or not, he could have said something.
It was a 60-second
If you're rooting
debate.
your like political philosophy in the aesthetic of like adopting the positions of some long dead person rather than a material analysis of the world that you live in, then you're an aesthetically oriented leftist, and you're not doing anyone any service.
Vaush apparently thinks
Okay.
material analysis is important, but at the same time applying real-world material analysis to the USSR is just excuses. Vaush is more than happy to say whatever.
Yeah, it is. If it's being used as an excuse. So, for instance, I also like to observe my surroundings, to process information. And I like the concept of object permanence. I like causality as a principle. You know, those are cool things that I have to use in my brain to make sense of the world. But sometimes people arrange that information in a way that is an excuse. You get it? See, sometimes we use information.
Dude, this guy is such a fucking slime ball. This guy is such a fucking slime ball. Explaining things is not excuses, Vaush. When you talk about historical context, when you try to come to understand material conditions, that is not excuses. That is explaining. That is discussing. That is not excuses.
Construct a type of statement
Oh my God.
that is an excuse, which is when you're making an illegitimate justification for or apologia for something that has happened. And you can...
How is it illegitimate? Are you going to explain how it is illegitimate? What specifically FT said is illegitimate? Or is it just illegitimate in that instance because you disagree with it? It's just illegitimate because it doesn't make you look good. Let's see if he actually can explain what makes what FT said illegitimate.
Do that using any kind of information gathering system, including material analysis.
Whatever fits best for him.
Yeah, so he doesn't explain what made FT's specific situation illegitimate. Okay.
Demonizing tankies, material analysis is good. A rambling, incoherent 45 minutes worth of material analysis is also apparently really important in explaining why Biden is putting kids in cages. But when a Marxist
That was a great video. People got super mad at that one, but as always, completely correct.
Leninist
Dude, he got so fucking destroyed there. He can just pretend to be confident but dude, that video talking about why Biden is putting kids in cages is so fucking funny. It's so rambling and incoherent. He knows he got called out and he's just like, yeah, no, it was a good video. No, it wasn't, dude. You embarrassed yourself.
this fellow traveler uses material analysis to explain the conditions in the USSR at the time.
I know, excuse.
Okay, wait, hold on. Is Fellow Traveler just using this as an excuse to get another video out? I bet the parts he helped with were just him inserting his conversation, so he could do, like, these ad hoc debate. Well, hey, listen, okay?
He makes up this shit that I was, like conspiring with Fellow Traveler, and Fellow Traveler used me to, to, fucking make the video. It's so funny, dude.
We're gonna get Biden to get those troops out of Iraq, okay? Wait, did he already do that? We're gonna keep Biden from... Okay? 3. And you are lucky that I personally got Biden into office, because otherwise... Is Hakeem from Iraq? Well, hey, listen, okay? We're gonna get Biden to get those troops out of Iraq, okay? Wait, did he already do that? We're gonna keep Biden from fucking bombing any more of your airports, okay? That's what we're gonna do. You're welcome, Hakeem. True!
When Vaush gets to
That was a weird section of the video. Why was there so much text?
That's fucking incredible, bro. He skips 7 minutes of the video. He skips 7 fucking minutes of the video, and then he goes to a random part of the video, and then when it ends, he was like, that was a weird section. Why is there so much text? Maybe if you hadn't skipped 5 or 6 minutes of the video, you would have fucking known what it was talking about. Oh my god, dude. This guy, he talks about object permanence. It's like he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's like he forgot that he was in the process of watching a video. It's like, that's incredible. Oh my god, that's so fucking funny. That's so funny, dude. This guy has 450,000 subs. Oh my god, that's incredible. Oh my god. It's also it's so fucking funny because that was, he just happened to skip halfway through the best part of my video. That was the most embarrassing part of the video from him, and people are gonna say, oh, you're just saying that it was the best part. No, I literally made a separate clip of the part he skipped because of how good it is, in my opinion. So yeah, he obviously would have pretended he wasn't getting destroyed, obviously, but it's still very funny. Vaush skips to the end of the movie and complains that he doesn't understand the ending. That's exactly what he just did. It's incredible. I'll be right back. Vaush skips 15 minutes in a movie. He skips 15 minutes into a movie, into a random scene. This is a weird part of the movie. What is this? What's going on here? This is a weird scene. I don't understand what's going on. This is incredible, dude. Oh, man.
Also true.
The word Marxist-Leninist, his mouth suddenly spazzes out. He mumbles about how the video is complaining about him before he skips past the fact that the Black Panthers were MLs.
Better skip past this part. Oh shit. There we go.
He actually was.
I literally got into leftism because of the Black Panther Party. The assassination of Fred Hampton's on a bookshelf on my left. That's still, like, to me, the foundational text that I used.
I'm pretty sure I've acknowledged that the Black Panther Party had political tendencies I disagreed with. I like what the Black Panther Party did.
Vaush acknowledged this after he was called out for it. He started talking about how Marxism-Leninism doesn't mean anything, that it's trash, that it's just a justification for authoritarianism. And then people said, the Black Panthers were Marxist-Leninists, and you idolized the Black Panthers or whatever. And then he's like, well, yeah, but they actually did things. They did things. Marxist-Leninists today do things, you fucking slimeball dipshit moron. Second Thought, who's a fucking Marxist-Leninist, just went to East Palestine, Ohio, to fucking film and talk about the destruction there and what happened. Luna Oy spent 3 years of her life, Marxist-Leninist, spent 3 years of her life translating a textbook into English about Marxism-Leninism for a loss with non-compete. They're not going to make a profit off of it because of international shipping costs. There's guys like that Unholy Rome guy on Twitter who are Marxist-Leninists who spend all their fucking time helping the community, building libraries, shit like that. And then you talk about MLs today don't do anything. They're just LARPers. You're a fucking liar. You're a fucking piece of shit, scumbag liar. You're a fucking liar. You know you're a liar.
I don't necessarily like everything they believed. A lot of Black Panther Party people were psycho freaks. They really were. They did a lot of base shit, though. I've, like, talked about that. It's not really much of a known.
That got me into this whole political scheme. Marxist-Leninism doesn't mean anything. It doesn't.
True.
Vaush at least does acknowledge in the latest of his anti-Marxist-Leninist videos recently released that the Black Panthers were also influenced heavily by Maoism, but he still weirdly doesn't
I've always... this comes up, like, every time they come up.
admit that they were also Marxist-Leninists. And he also argues that he thinks they're different from regular people that call themselves Maoists.
I said this because regular people... What the fuck face am I making here? When most people online call themselves Maoists, what they're actually saying is that they've never felt the touch of a woman. But when the Black Panther Party called themselves Maoists, what they were saying was, I'm retarded, but now I'm going to go out and harass some white policemen by following them around in my little car.
So when the Black Panther Party calls
Which is cool.
themselves Maoist, what do they actually mean? What are they referring to? Well, in their case, they were referring largely to organizational and revolutionary structures. Whereas in the case of regular people who call themselves Maoists, I interpret that as a defense of Mao, like as a leader.
The ideas of
That's totally true, by the way. Yeah.
both following a Maoist revolutionary structure or supporting past socialist leaders, those are not two mutually exclusive ideas.
If that's the case, why would an American ever be a Maoist? The Maoist revolutionary structure was all about, like, taking to the countrysides to get, like, the peasantry and the subsistence farmers on your side, and then engage in guerrilla warfare until you can, like, make marches in the cities. How is that relevant to American revolutionary strategy? But none of this, it doesn't mean anything. Again, for everyone, use the wipe, the memory wipe in your brain. Whenever a lefty starts making videos on shit like this, it's worthless. You would rather... It's better off if you do literally anything else. You could be jerking off right now. The people who made this video could be jerking off. We're literally listening to, like, an 18-year-old defend a group that I like, who I've acknowledged are Maoist, but they're saying that the kind of Maoist, the revolutionary conditions are more defensible than that. And this guy isn't brushing his teeth twice a day. This guy didn't take the garbage out in time for the last garbage truck, and now has stinky garbage in his house, probably, like, right by the back door. This guy's not holding it up.
He's just ranting. What the fuck was that rant? He didn't... Oh my god. What a fucking dipshit. Like he seems to be saying. Fought and died
Is there
for
anything here
socialism.
interesting?
Marxist-Leninist revolutionary groups fight.
Wait, is it literally all fucking like
Our
China,
least bit of
Cuba?
use in this
It's
day.
literally all tanky shit. Is there even any like progressivism in here? Oh, here's flowers.
Just your Nazi or
Progressivism.
Holocaust
He just skipped another fucking like 6 minutes. Oh my god, amazing.
supporting
Incredible.
accusations against the likes of Professor Flowers,
True.
Luna Oi, Non-Compete,
True.
Bad Empanada,
True.
Fellow Traveler,
True.
Danky King,
True.
Hakeem, and I'm sure
True.
many, many more. Of course, these same
Most of the people on that list have explicitly defended genocides.
red fascists acknowledge actual red fascists, also known as Pat Sacks or Nazbols, people like Jackson Hinkle or Infrared, for being crazy all the time. There is very clear and extensive evidence for this.
Yeah, Non-Compete literally said Nazis have a point.
It's not like a couple people, like, these people are widely condemned or at least disliked by most of the people that Vaush calls tankies. Vaush says he's not against the idea of critical support, but let's be honest, he's just a liar
True.
to say that and then lump all Marxist-Leninists in.
And this is another thing he does. He just says true, because he can't actually help to, you know, fucking respond to what I'm saying because he knows I'm destroying him. And it's so funny to say Non-Compete said the Nazis has a point. No, he doesn't. He didn't. And also, this is one of the funniest Vaush myths in his from his fans that there is. That it's so fucking funny how like he lies about how, or his fans lie about how Vaush wasn't like didn't actually say the Jews controlled the banks or whatever. No, he did, and he doubled down on it. He made a second video where he's like, no, actually, I looked into it, and yeah, the Jews did control this part. No, they didn't. You fucking Nazi apologist. They controlled a large amount of private banks in the Germany. Private banks made up 1% of the overall banks in Nazi Germany. You spread a Nazi lie because you're a dumbass. You're a dumbass.
Into a single category.
Retarded. Remember, Marxism-Leninism is not a real thing. It was a syncretic state ideology created by Stalinist USSR in order to stamp out any Marxist analysis from the term and use it as a brand image to unify the anti-West global hegemon under an ideology of authoritarianism and anti-democracy.
Every single time, I'm like, hey, you know, not all MLs are like this one or this one.
I'm not even gonna... I've already talked about how this is bullshit in my video.
Or this one, or this one.
But he skipped that part of the video, so...
This one, or this one, or this one, or this one. Eventually, I have to draw the line. I think MLs are just like that.
It's not in Vaush's interest to make a distinction between Pat Socks and the likes of Fellow Traveler Hakeem, who have both positive and negative things to say about the USSR, but Hakeem has criticized Vaush, as many other Marxist-Leninists have also criticized him. So they are all
Or
red
this one, or
fascists,
this
even
one,
though
or
most of
this
them do
one.
not uncritically support countries like Russia or China, or express
So ML is basically a brand then? Red fascist. It just means red fascist.
He doesn't listen to anything I said. He just completely ignores everything I said, and then he just responds to someone in the chat. Oh man.
Fascist. That's it. Every ML I have ever talked to has been some form of genocide denier or anti-democracy type. They're usually willing to make massive
Anti-democracy
concessions to
type.
progressivism if it means being able to achieve anti-capitalism. And by anti-capitalism, what they mean is state capitalism, which
They're usually willing to make massive concessions to progressivism. That sounds based. Progressivism is good. What the fuck are you talking about?
maintains the same fundamental power relations. It's just worse and less effective. There's really nothing
He just said state capitalism is worse than regular capitalism. That's not fucking true.
good to say about these guys. Some of them may have deluded themselves into believing that they're genuinely socialists, and some of them might think that they're repping
Dude, this guy's fucking passing out. He's like falling asleep. This is so funny.
the label, you know, but that there's some broader ideological goal they're trying to fight for that isn't necessarily socialism, but it's convenient to be in line. It doesn't really matter.
Oh my god. Okay.
This isn't even true, Vaush, because you acknowledge Hakeem is not as bad as Caleb Maupin or Jackson Hinkle and shit, like, bruh. Well, Caleb Maupin and Jackson Hinkle are... Okay, well, different distinctions here. Jackson Hinkle...
No, you fucking idiot. Because he just said not MLs are like this one or this one, this one. No, they all are like that. So
This
no,
one,
that's not
or this one, 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 or this one. Eventually, I have to draw the line. I think MLs are just like that.
It's not in Vaush. Yeah, so
Or like
that's not even
Philip
true what the
Moffitt, where his
chatter
first
said.
politic is like supporting the Russian state, and that overlaps with hating the West. You know, this stuff gets all mixed up. In any case, I've been doing this for 4 years, and these people are constantly shitting their pants when they talk to me. So it's not like I'm not getting moved over on this. I keep hearing people try to say, "Well, these people are good. Well, those people are good." You know, no, doesn't mean anything.
Racist or anti-LGBTQ views like the minority of Pat Socks do. If you're someone like me, though, who was very loyal to Vaush for a while, his strategy of scarecrowing his opponents as insane or fascist or uneducated.
Vaush can just be completely destroyed in debates, but he can just be like, I won. And his audience is like, you know what? Vaush won. That's true. Vaush could have a stroke in his chair in the middle of the debate and shit and piss himself. And at the end of the debate, if he said he won, his audience would be like, that's true. Vaush won.
True. You can hit me with that authentically as much as you want. It's true. You can't act retarded in front of me and then go, huh, your next move will be to call me retarded. And then I call you retarded and you're like, huh, how predictable. I mean, yeah. Like,
Really helps to shut down any rational discussion where Vaush knows he would lose. It shuts down any willingness on the part of his audience to critically engage at all with what the opponent is saying.
scarecrowing.
The problem, of course, with this strategy
Scarecrowing.
is that if you actually do critically engage with the content of most of the people he demonizes, you will quickly see that many of them aren't uneducated and aren't fascists. This is what happened with me. Professor Flowers was painted as an insane, white genocide-wanting, black supremacist monster, and after
True.
watching Vaush's review of the debate, I totally believed him. I remember thinking what a freak this lady was. But I still decided that it would be worthwhile to hear her perspective because I didn't think Vaush was the ultimate authority and I wanted to hear the other side. Then I watched her video responding to the debate she had with Vaush about black nationalism.
Which was also psychotic, if I remember correctly. Wasn't that the video where she, like, paused the music in the video and it zoomed in and she was like, and you whiteys are lucky that we don't want to kill you, or something like that? That was in the first follow-up video.
Yeah, she said, I don't believe that decolonization should involve widespread violence. And then she said, you're lucky that the fucking horrors of colonization, the horrors of slavery, the horrors of all these things, you're lucky that people don't want to revenge you for destroying families, for destroying lives, for white people destroying the lives of black people. It's not complicated, dude. You're just a racist and you don't understand what she's saying.
Right? That was pretty weird. It was pretty psycho. It was actually a lot worse than the actual debate because she was trying to hold it in while, like, talking with me. But yeah, that was pretty weird. And then she went
Remember. The number one thing that made me become no longer a Vaush fan, the number one thing is that in that debate with Professor Flowers, who criticized Vaush, Vaush went on to... The reason he went on so hard on her and tried to demonize her as a genocide supporter is because Flowers criticized Vaush. So she was an enemy. And this is why I won't go on to debate Vaush, because this is what he's going to do. He's going to get me on a stream and get me to say something, and I'm going to forever be the genocide oneer, or the fucking rapist, or the fucking whatever he wants to make my character out of. Anyways, he had Aristocracy on his stream, who was having a feud with Bad Empanada, who Vaush also hates. And Aristocracy is a Zionist. She is a right-wing Zionist supporter of Israel. But when Professor Flowers was on the stream, Vaush said, ethnostates are the worst possible thing that can exist. And then later on, he had Aristocracy, a Zionist, on his stream. He doesn't care about anything. He doesn't have any moral consistency. He doesn't have any principles. He doesn't have any of that. He is a complete opportunist, disgusting piece of shit who only cares about himself and that you treat him nicely. That was probably the single biggest thing that turned me, and I didn't mention it in this video. I wish I had, because it's embarrassing. for him.
On a bunch of other times to completely conflate white and colonizer, which suggests that any anti-colonial sentiment she expresses is legitimately anti-white racialized violence, which is just genocidal rhetoric. That's not really arguable. It's kind of objective. I think she may not even know consciously she would support genocide. No, she doesn't strike me as particularly bright, so I don't really think...
God, fuck this guy, man. This guy is such a fucking piece of shit. He's so insulting and just mean and such a fucking asshole. You're the one who's not bright, dude. You're a fucking dumbass, okay? You're the one that isn't bright.
She knows? But who cares if she knows? I know. Who gives a fuck about people's positions on their own positions? If we go by that, then we'll be fucking goose-stepping down DC by tomorrow. Christ.
And I saw that she was far more rational than Vaush painted her. If you're gonna say, oh, you know, PF supports genocide, just shut the fuck up and watch all 4 of her videos about
Nice counter-argument.
Vaush like I did multiple times and understand.
Remember, Vaush has spent much of the stream responding to the things I say by going, true, true, or clip jumped, or out of context. But then he says, nice counter argument. Oh my god, dude. Why does Vaush pretend not to understand systemic racism? I think it's a mixture of him being just a racist and dumb, and also the fact that Professor Flowers, again, criticized Vaush before she went on that stream. And the whole topic of the debate wasn't about decolonization anyways. But Vaush pivoted to that because he had a specific plan to make her into a genocide oner. That was his plan, and it worked.
And that you're wrong, and you're listening to Vaush's disgusting smear of her, rather than actually listening to her. Anyways, then while I was making this video, I also saw her follow-up video about harassment caused by the false accusations made by Vaush against her, made her stop making videos again, and even drove her to almost killing herself. And that's what really turned...
Oh wait, I watched this video. This is some fucking bullshit, man. You know, I still don't see any fucking evidence of harassment, because they can never front up with that shit. Wait,
you know, maybe the fucking giant horde of losers in your chat calling Professor Flowers a genocide oner, racist, crazy person, or maybe you calling her stupid. There's plenty of evidence in the fucking video of how she got harassed, okay? Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Did she even say that the harassment made her want to kill herself in this video? I don't even
Yes,
remember.
she did.
I don't give a fuck. She's a fascist and a genocidal freak who argued with me and didn't like being called what she is. Whatever emotional problems she has is a product of that, or not my fault. Now, they always try to weaponize that suicide shit. Hey, if anything, we can be thankful that, like, non-red fascists don't do that, you know? Normally, when you argue with them... And...
It's like, no one harassed her, but if they did... no one harassed her, but if they did harass her, she deserved it. Holy fuck, dude.
They freak out about it. They aren't, like, cry posting about it later. I've only seen
I don't know how to
example,
clip
which she admitted
anything.
wasn't from
Someone
the
else wants
community.
to clip it. Go ahead.
my fucking stomach.
People in the chat, wasn't that a made-up rumor? Did you notice how Professor Flowers stopped making videos for like 8 months? Do you think that was just like theater? That she was doing that as like as a joke or something? Or do you think that maybe Vaush convinced tens of thousands of dumbass white people that Professor Flowers was a fascist, and therefore, and he even admitted it's okay that she can be harassed. He just gave the fucking green light, by the way. In the video, he just gave the green light to harass her. He said, I don't care. She's a fascist. So he just said, go ahead and harass her. Let me know if my volume is okay, by the way. And I'm sorry I'm getting so angry and passionate.
Thanks directly to Vaush. These were people who had painted in my mind as insane fascists.
We went over that video on stream. There's literally nothing there.
Without ever in any real way actually knowing anything about them. I'd just taken Vaush's word for it and the way he'd interpreted Flower's words, without any critical thinking on my part, and someone had gotten hurt because countless other people did the same. It is cult-like how Vaush has to paint these people as insane and as deranged as possible in order to prevent any chance of people actually engaging with their content at all, and it works. Of course, Professor Flowers almost...
I usually tell people that they can engage with the content of the people. Don't I do that? I do that all the time. I literally say, if you like him, you can watch him. She flip-flops in her story about whether this community harassed her. This is the only example I've ever seen from her. Oh yeah, this was it. This was the big thread. So Ian's Vaush audience got a trans advocacy group banned from Twitter. That didn't happen. Who later asked why there are trans people who like him. A lot of white trans people responded. I like how they have to add white here, as if you can tell a person's race based on their Twitter response. And some
Could I
said
turn
they
up
like
my
him 'cause they
volume a
think
bit
he's
more?
anti-racist or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Really hard to see white people call a white person anti-racist.
the microphone or the video?
And that person has literally talked about white genocide, used their audience to attack any POC who called them out. I've never experienced so much racism in my life. Other than that community, I grew up around white conservatives. I've never been called an N-word so many times. Curiously, no evidence for this claim was ever produced once, even though my entire mod team reached out to try to get any support for this claim at all. Curiously, I mean, who could possibly imagine?
I do think it is smart to actually screenshot that stuff. I do think it is a smart strat to not just say that happened, and to not and to actually make sure you have evidence. I completely believe Vaush's audience or Vaush adjacent audience watchers absolutely did. Vaush seems to think that the only people that watch his videos too are like progressives or whatever, as if tons of right-wingers don't come to his videos also, who would openly and happily call people the N-word easily, obviously. And then he'll say, that's not part of my audience. They came to your fucking video. Not everyone who comes to your video is a fan of you. I had so many conservatives watching my Vaush video that weren't fans, but they were still conservatives and weirdos. And let's remember, he openly said it's okay if she gets harassed. Let's just keep that in mind, that he openly said that.
Imagine a freak fucking emotionally unstable fascist lying about stuff like that.
Jesus
Not
fucking
me.
Christ, man.
Only example I've seen. And then here's one which is the most fed post one in the universe that I've ever seen in my life. You're an N-word, hashtag Vaush Army. We are Vaush fans. We will send you back to Africa. This is definitely stuff my fans do and say.
She openly said in the tweet she doesn't think it's actually from a Vaush fan.
Vaush Army is a term used by my community. Yeah. This is definitely with an anime profile. Yep.
She said in the tweet she doesn't think Vaush Army isn't used by a Vaush fans. She said that. Jesus
Vaush
fucking
Army
Christ.
is a term used by my community. Yeah. This is definitely with an anime profile. Yep. Drainer Jihad. Created from what looks like basically the day that they would have messaged her. Yeah. Got him. Wait, hold on. I have to give the video bit to Tempest.
The fact that that person put the hashtag Vaush Army, they clearly came from Vaush one way or another. They clearly came from Vaush. They came from his video because they mentioned Vaush Army when calling her the N-word. So maybe they weren't part of his audience, but they still harassed her because, and also let's be honest, a lot of fucking conservatives and reactionaries just are part of Vaush's audience. Like, straight up. But regardless or not, that harassment happened because of his video. Like, it's not, I don't see how you don't understand that.
Just. Dun 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 dun. There we go. Tempest finally returned. The hero.
Almost killed herself as a result of the harassment she received. There is consequences to Vaush's actions. Saying not to harass someone is not nearly enough. Vaush openly admits he's lazy. He openly admits...
Wait, saying not to harass... Wait, hold on. Wait, can I even engage with ideas then at all? if saying you can't harass it, wait, so just never disagree. I don't even know what the prescriptions are there, like what you can even do engagement wise.
He's work shy.
You actually engage with what the person is saying rather than just calling them a fascist. That's what I mean. You actually engage with their ideas. You be responsible about your platform. But you're a fucking dipshit moron who will never be able to be responsible about your platform. You're lazy. You openly admit you're lazy. You have a shitty memory. You have a shitty attention span. You don't read. And yet at the same time, you call yourself a fucking genius all the time. You jack yourself off live on stream constantly about how smart you are. You're fucking delusional, dude. You're delusional.
Yet he acts like and is considered an authority when it comes to politics. So when he calls someone a genocide supporter,
True.
his politically uneducated fan base is going to see them as a genocide supporter and treat them as such. Also, while he claims not to...
Only a only a leftist would have a line like that. Maybe this guy isn't a red fash. Holy shit, maybe he really is a lefty. Vaush's fans like him. So when he says things, they hear that and then think the things that he said.
...support harassing, he just straight up actually does advocate for harassing people. He just keeps it vague enough by using his favorite word, tankies. And of course, the word tankies at this point has become so vague and...
What? It's not enough to not be a tanky. Mock them, socially ostracize them, kick them out of your communities. How is this vague? How is this vague?
I don't even need to go into how with Poppy, how he openly advocated to ruthlessly harass Poppy as well. Like he created an entire fucking campaign to harass the person that he had already been harassing previously. So it's just I should have mentioned that in the video, but I didn't, unfortunately.
In any way, it's very straightforward. Okay.
...nebulous of a term, but Vaush is basically just saying, whether he means it or not, to harass anyone to my left that criticizes me. As a side note, it's also very funny to make fun of Red Eye posting when he himself has posted at least 5 thumbnails of Biden with glowing eyes to his YouTube. The guy...
He's referring to a post here 2 seconds ago where I say, considering 90% of intra-tanky discourse I see online is posting pictures of tanks and memes of Stalin with glowing eyes, I'm perfectly comfortable assuming they're not cool kids. Does he think the glowing eyes here were the things that I took issue with?
I said, as a side note, it's very ironic that Vaush talks about people doing Stalin with red eyes and has posted tons of pictures with Biden with red eyes. It wasn't my main point. I just said as a side note. And yes, that was what he was saying. That's what he says in the tweet.
Like, hey, when I see tankies engage with each other, I just see them post World War II shit and Stalin with glowing eyes. Like, does he think the glowing eyes there are the... Yeah.
I'm calling him out as a fucking hypocrite, right? It's not complicated to understand what I'm saying, Vaush. I'm just saying you're being a hypocrite, dude. He just recently posted another video with Biden with red eyes.
Such petty surface level disagreements. I'm sorry to subject you guys to this. I know it's
such petty surface level disagreements. Oh my god. Jesus fucking Christ.
boring. And I'm skipping around too. A full thing over would take ages. This is what I mean with like addressing criticisms or responding to them or whatever. They tend to be really boring, you know? I'm just if I just man, I must say so few wrong things if this is the stuff people come at me with. You remember that, what was that DGG aligned attack video on me? It was like, is Vaush bad faith or something like that? And then that one was like also fucking waste of time. The real like is Vaush unironically evil? That's right. It's like the real cottage culture here. You know, the real like secondary economy. It's just getting reactions from people as they react to the very bad criticisms that you've made in your takedown essays or whatever. Yeah, Doomer Media. That fucking little...
He can just embarrass himself incessantly and repeatedly, as he has in this response, and I do to him in this video, but he can just say These people got nothing, bro. They got nothing on me, dog. Easy, no problem, boring. And then his audience members, their brains are just wiped of any arguments I made, of anything I pointed out, and he wins. That's literally it. And he admits this at the end of the video, basically.
Okay.
harass anyone to my left that criticizes me. As a side note, it's also very funny to me. Vaush's argument that Marx, Lenin, Mao, and others would have voted for Biden was extensive.
True, by the way. Still completely true, no matter how mad people get at it.
Dude, that's incredible, dude. That's incredible. He still is doubling down. Still doubling down on the idea Vladimir Ilyich Lenin would have, if there was a vote for Biden today, he would have gone to the polls and he would have written down Biden's name. Oh my god, dude. He's still holding on to that.
And they get clout off me, they don't ever want to talk to me. Nobody who disagrees with me talks to me and comes away looking good, because usually the people who I
Still true.
end up getting in these beefs with don't have good enough points to merit them talking directly to me.
But it's pretty weird to gloat about how lefties won't debate you because they're too scared, while at the same time refusing to debate.
Holy shit, dude. Fellow Traveler literally just inserted himself into this video so he could bitch about me. Oh my...
I openly show how he lies. I openly just showed completely and conclusively that he lies. He just said tankies won't debate him.
Nobody who disagrees with me talks to me and comes away looking good, because usually the people who I
Still true.
end up getting in these beefs with don't have good enough points to merit them talking directly to me.
But it's pretty weird
then
to
there
gloat
it
about
is.
how
I
lefties
show
won't
the
debate you
email
because they're too scared,
Of
while at
Vaush
the same time
saying
refusing
he
to
won't
debate.
debate Fellow
Holy
Traveler.
shit, dude. Fellow Traveler literally just inserted himself into this video so he could bitch about me. Oh my god. Holy shit. That was his entire contribution to this. Hello, Vaush. We spoke something. It was when I've come. I'm trying to get past the tanky arc. All it has brought is ruin. I feel like I've more or less addressed the core ideas. So this was after like 3 months of doing nothing but debating tankies, and nothing was accomplished. It was just like a non-stop train of guys with like 6 subscribers coming on. The tanky arc was fun, but this was like a long way down the road, man.
That doesn't change the fact that you lied, Vaush. It doesn't matter how long down the road it is or whatever, bud. You fucking lied, dude. You said tankies wouldn't debate you, and there is a screenshot of you admitting it to be real and saying, yeah, no, I was just tired of debating tankies. Well, that's not what you said, dude. You said tankies wouldn't debate you, and you bragged about it.
And this was, I was like very burnt out on these. So yeah, I guess like this entire video is just a way for Fellow Traveler to throw a brick with a note attached to it at my window.
That's so funny that he thinks this is just like Fellow
How many
Traveler
emails
making
have I
the whole
got
video.
from him in total? What's his actual email? Yeah, this guy's kind of weird, man. Do I want to leak email? No, no, no. Also, it would show his actual email. No. Sorry, I'm getting a blast from the past right now. I can't believe this was like 2 years ago, man. Okay. Okay, this is what I was looking for. I can't show it. I'm gonna read the entirety of these emails to you, though. This one right here. You might notice there are 2 emails in the middle here that are missing. Okay? So we're getting 1 and 4 of a 4
He treats
email
it.
chain.
He treats it like this is some revelation, and then he reads the emails, and it doesn't reveal anything. It's just the same fact that he still didn't want to debate
Okay.
Fellow Traveler. So it's very funny.
So Fellow Traveler messages me saying, "Hello, Vaush. We spoke some time ago. I was wondering if I could come on to one of your gaming streams sometime for a follow-up discussion. Same topics, of course. Actual existing socialism and planning versus markets. It doesn't have to be now, but preferably the sooner the better. This time, I won't be under the influence of alcohol, So hopefully it'll be a more productive talk. To which I responded, why were you under the influence of alcohol the first time? To which he said, anxiety/stage fright. Look, I know I was pretty belligerent last time, and I apologize for any rude conduct.
Fellow Traveler is selling himself so fucking short in that response, too. Like, Fellow Traveler was not being belligerent. Vaush was the one being belligerent, and he drove Fellow Traveler to become belligerent because of how belligerent Vaush was being.
On my part. If you don't want to talk again, I understand. However, if we do talk again, I assure you I'll be on my best behavior this time. I'd like to start and try to end our debate/discussion on a positive note this time. And then I said I'm just trying to get past the tanky arc, and so on. So
he said that Tankies didn't want to debate him. He said Tankies didn't want to debate him. And then he said in an email to someone, I don't want to debate you.
Man, he's got some personal issues he needs to work through.
Dude, you have some serious personal issues you need to work through, Vaush, and you never will, because you cannot handle any criticism. You cannot handle any fucking criticism.
I talked to Fellow Traveler about the Vaush debate. He tried to debate Vaush again, and he got a response from Vaush saying he didn't want to. To be fair, Vaush has admitted that he emailed Vaush again asking for another debate, but he interestingly doesn't mention that he said no.
This guy actually emailed.
What? Obviously, I would say no. If he emailed me for a debate, if he says yes, but we didn't have the debate, then I would have said no. There are only 2 people involved here.
What is he saying? I don't even know what the fuck
he's saying. A little while ago. Asking for another debate and admitted that he was drunk the first time.
Danky Kang, another so-called tanky who makes videos about Vaush.
Danky Kang, who made videos only about Vaush.
Also wanted to debate Vaush, but the best Vaush would give is answering things that Danky Kang said in Vaush's chat while Vaush played Sekiro. But Vaush later said to his chat that...
Does everyone remember Danky Kang? That tanky? Yeah, you remember? The tanky who shit-talked me for like a month, and I brought him on, and he like flunked his way through a conversation?
Vaush is a liar. He never brought Danky Kang on the stream. At best, he's seriously misremembering what
Alright, I've been exposed. Did I never talk to Danky Kang? I talked to a lot of people. It's not like tanky conversations ever go differently.
actually happened. And the proof...
I love these people. They just get exposed. They just get exposed as fans, and they're just like, I don't care. Who cares?
It's not like tanky conversations ever go differently.
actually happened. And the proof of it isn't hidden. It's all recorded. It's all there. Of course, then...
You should apologize to Danky King as... No. I want to apologize to my community for lying to you like that. I'm sorry.
His narrative for why he doesn't want to debate tankies.
It's very funny that some people came into my comments like, Vaush destroyed you, bro. He fucking destroyed every point you made. He has spent half of the video saying true, and he'll continue, especially later on in the video, saying true, agreeing to what I say, or just admitting that I'm right. like this has been like half of the video. He's just been like, true, or yeah, you're right. Like, it's incredible.
At some point changed, but it got even more idiotic.
Have you received no debate requests from pedestrian tankies in these troubled times? I have, but like most of them aren't really worth it. I like arguing with people who are wrong. If they weren't wrong, then we wouldn't be arguing. But past a certain level of disinformation, all I'm really doing is giving them a platform to ramble. Or to put it another way, if they are so propagandistic that there's no relationship between the words that I'm saying and the words that they're saying, at that point we're not really having a debate. We're just having a back and forth rant to the audience. And if I want to rant to my audience, I can do it anytime I want to, whereas they can only rant to my audience when I bring them on. So
that's true, by the way. This is why, like, I won't bring everyone on anymore. It's completely true. If like a debate, I'm the one with the platform. You need to offer me something to come on, anything, even if it's a reasonable like debate or conversation or whatever. But there are a lot of people who are so like twisted or like I guess sunken that whether something they say is correct or not, it doesn't actually change the outcome of the conversation. Like it's like bringing an animal on, literally, like in the sense that you can argue with an animal all you want while you're like holding them up to the camera. It doesn't like change.
Vaush's entire persona, his entire everything is just saying, I'm right and you're wrong. That's literally his entire thing. It's just, these people are dumb and I'm smart. These people are dumb and I'm smart. These people are dumb and I'm smart. And that's just all he does the entire time.
The nature of their presence on the stream, because they're just there to be there. Only if the person's bigger than you does that change. Yeah. If a person has a larger platform than I do, then obviously it's the other way around. Then I would need to give something worthwhile for them. There's like, if you can imagine a world in which I accepted every debate offer I got on stream, I would never end stream. I'd be dead. I'd be a corpse in my chair with a permanently running stream, because I would have gone for like 7 days in a row without drinking water. I fucking died. And a lot of those conversations would have been really, really boring.
I don't feel it's worth it. It's the same reason why, like, I don't go out of my way looking for, you know, like, Holocaust deniers or whatever. If I want to, these points can be dismantled without them here. It's not that I'm afraid of debating them. It's that the information you guys would get from me would be identical in either case because they would never respond to the arguments that I make. So it would literally just be a regular rant of mine interspersed with misinformation.
Remember, when fellow travelers started to explain material conditions in the USSR, Vaush said, excuse. He didn't in any way respond to fellow travelers' argument. And then he went on to talk about how Napoleon was socialist by FT's argument, like on this incredibly stupid tangent.
From that.
What a
That's true. That's so true.
complete and total bunch of the most pathetic, meaningless word salad I have ever heard in my life. I mean, what is a single thing here that you couldn't apply to right-wingers, Holocaust deniers, or not as much as left-wingers? Vaush's justification for debating
What?
right-wingers has always been to bring people left, quote-unquote. This is such a bizarre double standard. By
Wait. Why does he think I'm only saying this about tankies? I just said Holocaust deniers too.
I said Holocaust deniers or not. Any right-wingers. Vaush loves to debate right-wingers. The argumentative logic he used could be used against anyone that he debates. It's not complicated, dude.
Talking about people who are divorced enough from reality that there's not actually a point in talking to them. Is he a Holocaust denier? Did he hear like tankies, Holocaust deniers? He was like, both of those are me. Literally.
This guy's so fucking dumb. My god.
Wait, why does he think this is a standard I only apply to the left?
debating so-called
Because all you said... Oh my god.
tankies, couldn't you try to bring people away from tankyism, just like you're supposedly trying to do when it comes to the far right?
So he didn't listen. He didn't listen to what I said. He's actually confused. He genuinely doesn't understand the point that I made. I explained it like.
You said tankies, and then you said it's the same reason I don't talk to Holocaust deniers. Tankies is an incredibly broad definition of many, many people. Holocaust deniers are a very small part of the right wing. Tankies, quote unquote, whatever the fuck tankies mean, are typically a much broader part of the left. Holocaust deniers are a very small, sort of small part of the right. You still debate tons of right wingers. You were just a coward making up this fucking bunch of word salad to justify why you won't debate tankies by saying they're as delusional as Holocaust deniers. Remember, this is the fucking dipshit who says critical support of the USSR is okay. Yet he also says that tankies that critically support the USSR are the same as Holocaust deniers. He's a fucking dipshit.
Pretty concisely and clearly, and he just doesn't understand what was said here.
No, because people who support the USSR are apparently as delusional as Holocaust deniers, so it's just not even worth trying.
So,
I literally addressed the whole thing. I literally just addressed it. Like he fucking tries to say I don't know what I'm talking about, and then I just straight up address it in the video.
some of them are, yeah. You do some of these tankies, man. Whew. Oh yeah, no, 100%. It's not a matter of how immoral their beliefs are. It's a matter of how incapable they are of digesting reality.
Remember, his right-wing, disgusting audience are all just like agreeing with him that tankies are the same level of delusional as Holocaust deniers. Tankies who critically support the USSR, I guess he means uncritically or critically, whatever, but he means both, because Hakeem and Fellow Traveler and Danky Kang all critically support the USSR, yet he wouldn't debate them. because apparently they're the same as Holocaust deniers. He doesn't believe in critical support. When it comes to the US, oh hell yeah. He is big on critical support when it comes to the fucking US. Absolutely. It's just when it comes to like an actually socialist state that he suddenly thinks you're a Holocaust denier if you support it.
Also, a lot of people who support the USSR are also Holocaust deniers. Nick Fuentes loves Stalin. That's his like primo worship character.
Trying. It's just so obvious that again, he
A lot of people, i.e. one fucking random Nazi.
doesn't mean anything he's saying, and he's just doing yet another tool in his tool belt, which is to use his idiotic word salad strategy.
True. Hey guys, make sure to ameliorate my discombobulate by giving me muchos dineros right now, okay? Make sure to equate money.
To avoid the fact that yes, he is afraid of debating people to his left. What is particularly fucked up
I've only done it 500 times. The 501st time that'll really set me in.
about the idea that he won't even debate lefties on his stream is that he continues to defend or be friends with disgusting transphobes like Shoe on Head.
Oh no. Oh no. Hey, now I am afraid. We're getting into this discourse? Oh no.
This guy thinks that if you critically support the USSR, you're probably a Holocaust denier. But he's best friends with Shoe on Head. Amazing shit.
Damn, dog. You know who else was a disgusting transphobe? Stalin. What happened to your actual existing socialism? Actually...
Dude, what the fuck are you... This is the dumbest argument ever. I think he knows it's a dumbass argument, but... Oh my god. First of all, there's like nothing Stalin ever said about transphobia. I assume he means he was a homophobe. But the fact that Stalin was a homophobe, does that mean you completely despise the USSR? Like, what is your argument? You are close friends with Shu. You repeatedly defended Shu. If someone's defending Stalin, homophobia, yeah, that's the only reason in which that would be applicable. Otherwise, that's just an incredibly stupid argument.
Actually, drag queens are a petite bourgeois perversion of human behavior, a decadence engaged in only as a way of alleviating the alienation of capital. An anti-drag queen action is essential towards promoting a proper proletarian society. I've heard that argument before. You think that was off the dome? I've heard that one before.
Who equate drag shows with grooming to the point that even his fan base calls him out on it. And only when Vaush fully realizes he can't defend and enable Shu anymore without his audience basically leaving him, does Vaush truly go hard on her. Or what about...
See, I even show the specific videos of how he went hard in defending Shu on Head.
Or what about Hunter Avalon?
Wait! I thought he was going to show the view count for the shoe video. Yeah, I saved it all up for one big denunciation video so I can make the most money.
We're coming up on what is my favorite part of the video at this point. We're coming up on the best part of the video.
I made sure it was monetized and everything.
Who thinks the CIA is apparently a trustworthy institution.
If you don't trust the CIA, then who do you trust?
And Vaush will not only debate...
Nice clip, Chimp. Very morally... Okay, to make a serious point here, even if you don't know anything at all about me, the person making this video, or the arguments being presented, I think you can basically guarantee that a person isn't worth listening to if you see stuff like that in a video essay. If you see clip chimping like that, you can in your head you should think, okay, so that was a totally illegitimate argument.
Clip chimp.
How many other illegitimate arguments are being used here?
No context. Clip
Like
chimp.
that one is evidently illegitimate, clearly so, just based on the way it's edited.
Clips.
But if I had more information, how much stuff here would also like come across as ridiculous or dishonest? So I think at the face of it, you can normally discount stuff like this with no, you know, with no broader thought. Didn't you, Chris?
They are a proven liar now. Why trust anything they say? Hunter Avalon had a video where he just defended the CIA, simping for the CIA. He literally simps for the CIA in this video. And then Vaush just went on a rant about how I can't be trusted because I clip chimped him. I'm right. Now, ready for this part? This is the best part of the video, in my opinion.
With no broader thought. Didn't you criticize Hunter for a CIA arc? Yeah, I disagree.
Didn't you criticize Hunter for his CIA arc? Vaush answers, yes. So he did support the CIA. So how did I clip chimp him? Or are you just making that up because I'm the bad guy? So you're trying to say me saying what Hunter Avalon what actually said makes me untrustworthy. And then you just went on to admit that Hunter, you also criticize Hunter for his CIA arc, whatever the fuck that means. Unbelievable.
I agree with Hunter on plenty of shit. I don't know why the video is implying that I don't. However, whether or not Hunter is incorrect, that was mechanism for attacking Hunter's positions is a fundamentally dishonest one.
Okay.
And it means that if you're willing to rely on that standard of evidence gathering against people this video essayist doesn't like, you could be made to believe basically anything, regardless of the, you know.
No, I don't know, because I literally just said what Hunter Avalon said, which is that he supports the CIA. What the fuck is this guy talking about?
Some More News incorporates clips like that in his takedowns of JP and Ben Shapiro. That alone doesn't totally discredit your points. No, but I do think it's bad faith. Some More News will incorporate stuff like that for like soundbite mimetic purposes, like comedy. The difference, though, is that Some More News' like main video is like an hour-long, well-researched thing, you know? I guess I'm willing to be a little bit more permissive when it feels like the sound clip is being used to sort of comedically add to give like a little bit of a verbal breakup to a broader.
He's dug himself a hole. He's dug himself a completely nonsensical, idiotic hole that doesn't make any sense, and then he just keeps digging deeper, as he always does, because he can never admit that he's wrong on something. So he's just digging a deeper hole. My clip was meant to be comedic and educational. That my clip was meant to be both comedic and educational. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well-researched thing. Whereas that's the only thing you saw of that argument. Keep in mind, the point is that we're trying to hear an argument for Hunter Avalon. I don't think I've ever heard...
he made an argument. He said, if you can't trust the CIA, who do you trust? What the fuck is this guy talking about?
More News do that, or Some More News is like, look at this segment where Jordan Peterson says that he hates baby seals, and then it's like 20 seconds of a BBC reporter talking, and then Jordan Peterson begins with, well, yeah, and then it cuts off right there, and that's it, you know?
What?
I guess maybe I made it sound like it was funny because it's obviously a joke there. I don't really know. I don't like stuff like that at all.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just rambling.
If that's all you've got, you know?
I've got the clip of him saying he supports the CIA, which you yourself admitted. What the fuck is this guy talking about?
Hold on, let's finish this video. We have a debate in 25 minutes.
But suck up to an Israeli Zionist ethno-nationalist, or a literal natural gas lawyer, or an actual American.
Suck up to... Wait, I'm just next to some people. Wait, what? Wait, hold on. Wait, suck up to... I'm just next to the... What? I can't... Wait, talking? Wait, what? Hello?
Bro, that video with the NATO guy, he sucks up to him so hard. He sucks up to the guy so hard. He literally says... At one point, he's like, wow, I've never done as much as you, not even close. He totally sucks up to the guy.
Remember when I sucked up to Tim Pool and Charlie Kirk? And no, Eris isn't an ethno-nationalist. I don't agree with everything she says as well. But again, I talk to lots of people I don't agree with.
Military.
yes, yes, she is an ethno-nationalist, and you are a supporter of an ethno-nationalist because all you care about is personal loyalty. That's all you care about. You don't care about anything else. Oh, man. I'm gonna have a compilation of clips. Someone else made the compilation, but I'm gonna put a compilation of clips showing just how much of an ethno-nationalist she is in the video response. I'm so ready to be done with this. I'm gonna put out that video and I'm so fucking done.
Officer that participated in Operation Iraqi Freedom, but he says he
True, based. I love freedom, and I love the Iraqi people. You're welcome, Hakeem.
regrets platforming Hakeem. I mean, you can't make this shit up. How does anyone in their right mind still consider this person to be a leftist?
Didn't I say I regretted platforming Hakeem because he lied to me? He was a coward when we talked. He agreed with everything that I said. He made, like, videos where he would shit-talk me, but then I brought him on, and he was just like, yes, sir, no, sir. Fucking what? I went along with it at first because I thought, hey, maybe this guy's more reasonable. No, he's actually a coward.
To Vaush, being reasonable is just agreeing with him. That's all being reasonable means. Also, I haven't watched the Hakeem Vaush discussion, so I have no ability to comment on it.
Vaush has debated tankies a couple of times more recently, like Yankee Tanky, for example, but that was one of the disciples of Caleb Maupin, who's already incredibly unliked, as I've already shown. It's clear he's ignoring people who've actually read theory and know what they're talking about, so he can instead make himself look cool by talking to complete idiots, because he is a coward and a liar.
So I'd like it if you.
Interestingly, he won't point out that Yankee Tanky also, Yankee Tanky also has the don't bring on because there's no point in talking to them flag.
Yo, just one second.
More stuff from fellow traveler here, who contributed massively to this video.
We're not actually gonna get.
Is there any actual criticism video? No, there's nothing here. My positions are unimpugnable. What's interesting is that if this guy was smart enough, maybe if he, well, first of all, he was smart enough, he wouldn't have stopped watching my videos. Gotta slurp up that brain juice. Second of all, there actually are some weaker points you could have gotten me on. The video on Joe Biden and the camps, the migrant camps or whatever, I think more could have been done there to try to attack me. I would have disagreed still, but I think you could have drawn out like a real argument. There are a couple of positions I've taken that I wholeheartedly believe in. But that doesn't mean they're not capable of being criticized.
The entirety of his persona is literally just I'm wrong. I mean, I'm right and you're wrong. Ha ha ha. He's a literal child. He's a literal fucking child, dude. Yeah, did he just say that the invasion of Iraq was good? I think he's being ironic, but no, he does. And he basically admitted in a stream, he said like if the plan to go into Iraq was like, you know, well laid out or whatever, and it was like for just causes or whatever, he said like, yeah, I would support the Iraq war. It's incredible.
Just need something there. You need to like have an actual angle to attack it from. But this guy doesn't have one, unfortunately.
I would like to just establish this. I would appreciate it if you treated me with the same level of respect that I have treated you with thus far. I did not start interrupting you until you started interrupting me, sir. I'm not a big fan of
Is this seriously fellow traveler complaining that I was mean to him?
I'm not a big fan of liberal. I mean, you're the one who started insulting me. Like, just trying to.
Vaush also loves talking about like the conspiratorialism of the left.
From my perspective,
he loves to talk about how like the lefties, the tankies, are like so prone to conspiracies. When Vaush will come up with whatever fucking conspiracy he needs to make himself look good in the moment, like whatever it is, he'll say that me and FT conspired to make this video. He'll say, you know, that the Zizek writing the anti-trans article was like, he'll imply, and his audience will imply that like, there's no way Zizek wrote this. There's no way. Like, when Zizek has been writing like anti-trans diatribes and anti-woke diatribes forever, it's like, he just makes shit up. Later, Gators. I can't handle this no more. No problem, Bien. I'll see you later. I understand. I'm quite exhausted myself.
You're trying to get an emotional response out of me to make me look bad. That's exactly what you're doing right now.
We need to be able to talk, or we can't do this, okay? The reason why I'm being rude to you is because, as far as I'm concerned, you're a pestilence on my movement.
But when you're engaged in
God, I'm so fucking based, man. God damn. Why would you? Why
so
show the
cringe,
dubs?
dude.
Why put
You're
the dubs
so
out
fucking
there?
cringe and pathetic.
debate environment, there's a
It's
baseline level of charitability that you have to engage in before it becomes a problem. There are people saying, who cares? This is just optics. No, it's not.
It's because, as far as I'm concerned, you're a pestilence on my movement.
Yeah, I did. I met the baseline level of civil engagement. 5 seconds.
No, he didn't. Vaush just says that. He's like, I met the baseline. No, you didn't, dude. You're a fucking liar. You're just a liar. That debate, you were so fucking rude and insulting and bad faith from the beginning. But in the debate between Destiny and Richard Wolf, Vaush started going off on Richard Wolf about being mean to fucking Destiny. Like, this guy's such a joker, man. This guy's such a fucking joker.
Then we were good.
You're a group of state worship.
He just says things. He doesn't back it up with any evidence. He just says, no, I was charitable. No, you weren't, dude. Not at all.
Who completely misunderstand what socialism is and don't understand the Wait, you actually have to stop. You actually have to stop
your movements. I thought it was our movement, Vaush.
Please,
when is it your movements?
Please.
Having to not let fellow traveler finish, Vaush then proceeds to get angry at fellow traveler. Yeah, absolutely. You guys, I don't understand how this is difficult for some people. If you're annoying, I get to interrupt you, and you can't interrupt me. That's the rule.
He's so unserious, bro. He's so fucking unserious.
People say that I mute people when I debate them. I actually very rarely mute. Usually I just talk over you, and I'll keep doing it, and I love doing it, and I don't care. Having even a fucking fraction of a second to express your horrible, unthought ideas out on my platform is a gift given to you at the expense of being talked down to by me. The entitlement on these people, man. Holy shit. You know they're a tanky because they're obsessed with the USSR's total employment program because they sure feel fucking entitled to the job of getting their asses kicked on my stream. The honest truth is usually I can keep things pretty calm as long as they won't fucking interrupt me, but some people are just really annoying.
Dude, you interrupted fellow traveler. That was the whole thing. Do I really need to go to fellow traveler's debate and show how many times you interrupt him? Your whole thing is interrupting people. He just talks. He just says words, and he says them confidently, and he says them like, you know, completely assured of himself, and his childish audience is so attracted to that. I was attracted to that level of confidence. And he just rides off of that and that alone. He's just a talker. It doesn't, what he's saying doesn't mean to be accurate. It doesn't mean to be right. All it needs to do is to make his audience like him.
Just trying to build an audience or a movement? You're trying to build an audience or a movement, Vaush?
Vaush slips up here and says, my social movement. It's not the only time he said it either.
Don't denigrate my social movement with your nonsense.
Given how demonstrable Vaush's insane ego is, given how obsessed he is with maintaining his image at all costs, I don't think it's a stretch that he really does think this is his movement.
Yeah, like if you live with a family and there are 4 of you in a house, you can say my house, even if you're not 100% of the, like some people say, for instance, my.
Has anyone in here ever referred to socialism or Marxism, Leninism, or Marxism as my movement in that way? In the way you would talk about my family? Come on, bro. Don't fuck around. Everyone knows what you mean. You think it's your movement. You think it belongs to you. You think you're the smartest person on the left. You've basically said this many times. You think you're the right person. You think you know everything. It is your movement. It is. I'm curious, didn't you already react to this video? I reacted to the first, 14 minutes with fellow traveler, but we never finished.
A city, but they don't own the city, you see. It's just the city they live in. See, it's a language thing where they're indicating familiarity with and attachment to. Yeah. My country,
God.
America. Oh, I'm president now.
But he can't be his movement if he's made to look bad in any way, shape, or form. In any case, even if people were avoiding debating him, I wouldn't even blame them. Winning
My
debates
sports
does not
team.
mean coming away from him.
Saktanold gifted 4 tier 2 subscriptions. Can I get 4 fucking tier 2 subscriptions for going through this, please? Can I get some fucking memberships or some shit for going through this? Let's get some tier 2 subs up in here, huh?
An argument as the logically superior person. Winning is making sure that by the end of the debate, the chat, the audience, whatever, is on your side.
True.
And that's the problem with debates. Vaush doesn't have to be right morally or factually. He just needs to frame the conversation to his audience as him being right, as him winning, and then he wins.
True.
And that he is.
I've said all this of debates before, by the way. Debates are not a format for arriving at the most true position. It's just a happy coincidence that I'm telling the truth.
very, very good at. I don't think.
So there it is, where he just straight up says, like, yeah, no, debates are not about the truth. And then, of course, he also says, but I'm also right about everything.
Debate culture is inherently terrible, or that it can't bring people to the left, and I won't contest the fact that many people claim to have been brought to the left by Vaush. But I think what these people don't realize is that being brought to the left doesn't mean you were brought over to leftism. You might be less of a right-winger than you once were, but if Vaush is the only or main person you rely on for your political opinions, you are by no means an actual leftist. The reason Vaush is seen by
Super capitalist.
some as a good debater and has such a large audience is twofold. Firstly, he debates a lot of fascists and right-wingers who are the dumbest people alive and incredibly easy to debunk. Secondly, it's simply because...
Oh, I want to point out, by the way, and I do still mean this. In my experience debating people on the right and the left, I actually do think I see more delusion from the tankies than I do from, like, most of the far-right people. Well, tankies are...
Did everyone just hear what he just said, by the way? He just straight up said, right-wingers are less delusional than tankies. Remember, he is called fellow traveler and Hakim, who critically support the USSR. They might even say things I disagree with, you know. But, you know, they don't dogmatically support everything it ever did. He just said that tankies are more delusional than right-wingers. Do you need to say anything more about this guy? I mean, I could never make a video or address the guy again, and anyone in their right mind can know the kind of person this guy is. Anyone in their right mind can know that this guy is a right-wing, like, actual fascist. That if it came down to the Nazis or the tankies, he would choose the Nazis any day. He just said it. I mean, he just said it. He just said people on the right are less delusional than tankies. Well, if you had to choose between who the two less delusional people, you would choose the Nazis, it seems like. Right? Yeah, scratch a liberal and a fascist bleeds. This he's a total liberal. And if worse comes to worse, he will side with the Nazis every fucking time.
So far right, but you know what I mean in terms of, like, the perceived sides here. Like, they tend to be worse interlocutors. At least there's a potential that conservatives exist in reality. But if you're the kind of person who legitimately, like, wants to get on a live stream to argue how Stalin was right, you have nothing. Like, you're not only are you psychotic, you're also detached from real modern politics, which is funny because leftists are all about material conditions. It like, at least far right, like, literally, like, QAnoners or old...
This guy's so funny. He's always got to hand it to the right-wingers. He finds so many opportunities and chances and different times where he has to find some way where he's got to hand it to the right-wingers more than the left-wingers.
Ultranationalists or Christian nationalists. There's an active ongoing movement for these things in America today, which means that if you're a modern American QAnoner, you would at the very least have some kind of contemporary groundwork to build off of what you believe and why you believe it. Doesn't make you any less psychotic. It just means you're participating in modern political discourse. The same cannot be said of tankies, who are usually operating on a comparable level of delusion and, you know, distance from reality, but are doing so from the perspective of a country and time period that doesn't exist anymore. Which means that you have to operate on this like additional axis of delusion where it's like, okay, I was already talking with schizos. Now we're talking with schizos in Atlantis. Okay, now I need to know what a fucking schmeep schmop is. But I also need to know that the person.
Remember, first of all, there's still Marxist-Leninist countries that exist, and secondly, the whole point of critical support, the idea of critical support, in the past and in the present, is learning from the past for the present. My Mistakes of the USSR video talks about this. It's about learning from these countries, taking things from them, and applying them to the real world in the present. Just because something only existed in the past doesn't mean it isn't applicable in some way in the present. He starts post facto with the idea that he wants to make tankies look worse than Nazis, and then he has to find a way to work back from there to justify it, and his justification is just completely incoherent and doesn't make any sense. But again, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the words coming out of his mouth. He doesn't care. All that matters to him is being right. All that matters to him is demonizing tankies, and he will side with right-wingers and QAnon people. He just said QAnon people are less crazy than tankies. Oh my god. Oh my god. Lord. I still haven't even gotten a fucking donation. Oh man. I am $0 richer after this.
Telling me what a schmeep schmop is wrong about what a schmeep schmop is. They're wrong about it. Like, I have to, like, okay, you know, like, it's, yeah.
Because he never concedes on anything. It's like a child changing the rules in a game of chess on the whim to make sure they win.
Sure.
As Vladimir Lenin once wrote in The Proletarian Revolution and the Renegade Kautsky, it is therefore impossible to argue, to debate with Kautsky. All we can do is demonstrate why Kautsky cannot be called anything else but a renegade. Given that I know Vaush's bad faith...
Vaush claims that he is on the autism spectrum, but at the same time he uses the R slur and makes fun of mentally ill people, which pisses me the fuck off because I'm on the spectrum. Yeah, he called Professor Flowers a mentally ill, mentally deranged fascist. And we're going to look at the comments after this, because the comments are incredible. They are... they're so good. Marxism, Leninism, Schmeep, Schmoop thought.
Having spent...
Wait, didn't earlier he say I was bad for not debating fellow traveler, but now he's saying other people shouldn't debate me based on the exact same law?
You said, you bragged about people not wanting to debate you. You bragged about it. Right? You bragged about it. That's the difference. I don't think it's usually wise to debate Vaush unless you're really ready. The difference is you bragged about fucking people not wanting to debate you, and you were a liar. I'll link the Discord in the chat if you want to join. I don't know which Discord link is broken. Is it the one in the video itself? That one is, yeah, that one's always fucking broken. I gotta fix that. Alright.
He said the other Lenin quote was fake, but that one is the real one? I don't really know. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Countless hundreds of hours.
Yeah, it's so fucking funny.
Other people shouldn't debate me based on the exact same law. He said the other Lenin quote was fake, but that...
I literally say, I show the Lenin quote here, and I say it.
Debate with Kautsky. All we can do is demonstrate why Kautsky cannot be called anything else but a renegade. Given that I know Vaush's bad faith, having spent...
Wait, didn't earlier he say I was bad for not debating a fellow traveler, but now he's saying other people shouldn't debate me based on the exact same law?
This is so fucking funny.
He said...
Look at the people in the chat who are saying that's a fake quote. Oh shit, it's the fake Lenin quote. It's the fake Lenin quote. Fake Lenin quote. The same fake quote.
cannot be
Look
called
what I
anything else
put
but
in
a
the
red day.
fucking screen! Look what I put on the screen right above the quote! This is the real quote! These people don't read! They don't look at anything! Their brains don't work! I can't fucking... What?
What?
Oh...
He said the other Lenin quote was fake, but that one is the real one? I don't really know. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Countless hundreds of hours
People
researching about the
don't
guy.
read.
Given that I know he will never change, I wish we could just
Isn't that the fake quote? Wait, that's the fake Lenin quote. Isn't that a fake quote? It's fake
ignore
quote.
Vaush.
The fake
But
quote.
I think there's a responsibility.
Fake Lenin quote. That is a fake quote. Oh my god. Oh my god. They're so fucking dumb, bro. They are the dumbest people alive. You put huge white text, bigger than the text of the quote, saying this is the real quote. And then everyone says the fake Lenin quote. The fake Lenin quote. These are the intellects of the people who are in Vaush's audience, man.
Reform as a like criminal justice program. Interesting.
Fake quote.
Hard and repeatedly, because he is one of the biggest left-wing content creators there is, and he has a ton of influence that he does not wield wisely. There is hope, mind you. According to YouTube, Vaush's 38 most popular videos all have come out over a year ago now, and the subscriber count has mostly stalled.
If the sub count stalling is true, do you know how views happen? So I'll defend my honor on this one. So the long
I know Vaush is like really insecure and cares a lot about his subscribe count. So that was the only reason I even mentioned this really, is because I wanted to kind of just personally dig at him.
The longer a video has been out, the more time there is for those videos to accumulate views.
Again, these people do not read words that are put on the screen in front of them. They don't read the words that are put on the screen. Oh, they just don't read the words that are put on the screen right in front of them. They do not read the words. It's incredible.
In terms of the views that I get per month, I think between my two channels, Vaush and Vaush Pit, I think it's about 11 million views per month to about 1.2 million unique individuals, which feels like a decent amount. I mean, that's comparable in influence to like news stations. So I'm fine with that. But I want more.
It's not about you getting a lot of views. I'm saying that your overall views, your overall analytics are going down, and that is a fact. Or at least they are somewhat going down, and that is a fact. Because more and more people are realizing what a scumbag and horrible person Vaush is.
Your videos have a view time ratio. There's the analytics on a YouTube video. It's a whole fucking... They have everything on the back end. You ever want to like really dig into it, you know?
All have come out over a year ago now, and the subscriber account has mostly stalled. His viewership is clearly going down, and that is a wonderful thing. But Vaush is still very important, so it's still important to keep hitting back and to turn that downward slope in viewers into a cliff. Responding to people like Vaush is a matter, to me, of...
I used to get 10 to 20 million views a month. I fell off hard. Don't worry, you're fine. Yeah, wait. Unorthodox Monkey, were you YouTube royalty? What the fuck? What channel did you have?
doing it the right way, through videos like this, and not, at least in most circumstances, to actually debate him, given how dishonest his debate tactics can be.
Sure.
I do think he has shown his colors in some debates in ways that have turned people off, so if you're truly prepared for the sheer extent of his bullshit, I won't advocate against debating him, but if you do, don't go in expecting to change Vaush. Vaush has shown time and time again that he is not good faith. Go in expecting harassment, strawmanning, and gaslighting, and maybe hoping that a few people, like I was in Fellow Traveler's debate with Vaush, might be persuaded. In the end, I'm not making this video for Vaush any more than I'd be debating Vaush for Vaush. I know if he somehow watches this at all, he'll make sure to demonize me, strawman me, and likely
Your next move will be to call me retarded.
not even finish the video, which is just yet another part of his
No, well, okay, we didn't watch all of it. We're getting to the end.
tool belt. I'm making this video for anyone in his audience who isn't either
Didn't watch all of it. We're getting to the end.
tool belt.
But you skipped like 15 minutes of the video, dude. Because your attention span, you have the attention span of a dying gerbil. You have no ability to like actually long-term pay attention to something.
I'm making this video for anyone in his audience who isn't either
Also, my friend, my brother in Christ, me not watching a full 45-minute video is not a debate tactic or like a sneaky I'm live streaming. I have.
Dude, I know you are dumb and you have a short attention span and I'm not saying you're doing it maliciously. I'm saying you're dumb and you cannot simply sit down and watch a argument from beginning to end because it's too hard for you. That's fine. I get that.
But like Vaush won't even watch every second of this 2-hour video. Motherfucker, do you know how much I pause while watching videos? Do you know how many bits I have to express? Come on.
Half of your video was just saying true or agreeing with what I said, so you kind of didn't need to pause for half of watching the video, honestly.
Vaush are just a piece of shit. To Vaush's fans, if you consider yourself a socialist, and yet are incredibly against almost every socialist experiment in history, if you really consider yourself a socialist, yet you've never read a single book about theory or history, and you display no interest in doing so, ask yourself why you aren't interested. Is this all about aesthetics to you? Because that's
I'm a sock dem.
not what socialism is about.
Because I summed it all up. We're good.
Socialism isn't science. It is a process, something that takes reading and patience and understanding, or at the very least a willingness to listen to the people who have done the reading and understanding and the organizing. In the end,
Bro, they lose their shit when I say read theory. It's like the most triggering thing humanly possible. The idea of being told to read the works of like Marxist and socialist thinkers is such a fucking trigger for these people. They go off. They go insane. Look at this tanky. All he cares about is theory. I'm just saying that it might help you a bit to read some theory. I haven't read that much theory. I'm more of a history guy, but I'm just saying, you know, maybe it would be nice to read some theory, to read like about socialist ideas in practice. You know, maybe.
and if you were a
But the
Vaush
chat
fan,
is
I
just
challenge you to do what I
going
did,
off.
to look at perspectives that challenge the narratives that Vaush is telling you. To look basically anywhere beyond just Vaush. Anyways, that's about all I have to say. It took me a long time to actually make this video because I'm kind of afraid of Vaush and of certain incredible.
Bro, I'm not part of
They
the...
are going off so hard at the idea of me just saying, hey, maybe read some theory. Maybe that would help. And they're going off. I love that. That's incredible. Vaush's audience is fantastic.
the fucking internet mafia. What?
Incredibly mean and toxic elements of his fan base.
Oh my god.
But at the same time, I think these things just need to be said. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please support the video and the channel by liking, subscribe.
Okay. The fact that you censored my comment only proves my point. You're going to censor this one as well. Vaush is arrogantly ignorant.
He doesn't read my response, of course.
Speaking as a former viewer. Yes. Vaush's debate with fellow traveler really helped open my eyes up too. Damn. Who gets bought in by this shit? There's a comment saying they were watching since 2017. I've been a Vaush fan my entire life, all the way back to 1994. Anyway, there was really, like, nothing of value there, I guess, except for jokes.
Oh my god.
There will never be anything of value to a criticism of me.
Oh my god. Now, we're gonna make a little gander into the comments, which are fucking hilarious. Incredible. Incredible. Alright, so first one. Tankies thinking tanky is a slur has the same energy as TERF/cis getting mad and saying those are slurs. So, I never said I thought tanky was a slur. Fellow Traveler made a comment that said, like, good job with the video, you know, like, nice job. And then at the end he said, like, tanky is a slur or whatever. I don't really agree with that. I don't know what he means by that. I don't agree with that. I don't think it's some idiotic thing to say. So that's one of the most liked. Is something I didn't say. Is something I didn't say. So the most liked comment on Vaush's video is socialism isn't a science, it's a process. This guy very clearly confused about what science is. I said socialism is a science. So the most liked video, the best thing that people could come up to say against me was something I never said. I said socialism is a science. It is a process. It is a scientific process. That was the whole point of Marxism, was going from utopian socialism to scientific socialism. Oh my god. Oh, there was a really funny reply. I love these people who are going like, no, science is a process. And then I even point out science is a process. Or science, socialism is a science. See, there's people in the comments who are pointing out that I did say socialism is a science. So that was the most liked video. The most liked comment on his video was mishearing what I said. It's again talking about how tanky is a slur. Incredible. Imagine clip chimping somebody admitting to being lazy. I didn't clip chimp him admitting to being lazy. He admitted to being lazy. What the fuck? He said he was lazy. To these people, clip chimping means showing a clip of them saying something that makes them look bad. And that's it. That's fucking literally it. Oh my god, dude. Oh, this one's great. Anyone else weirded out by how culty this guy seems to admit to being? I was a Vaush person and watched him obsessively until I wasn't. What? Isn't the whole point of being in a cult that you're part of the cult? That you stay in the cult? That you don't leave the cult? But I'm culty because I said I stopped watching his content because I grew out of it? Am I in the cult? I don't think I'm in the cult. Okay, this is another fucking thing that's like from Fellow Travelers Debate. Wasn't about my video. Oh my god. Oh my god. So yeah, it's incredible that the most liked comment is just wrong. It's mishearing what I said. And then the second most liked comment is something that wasn't even me. It was something that Fellow Traveler said. It's incredible. These people have nothing. Oh, there was one comment I wanted to find that was super fucking funny. Whereas someone said it was ableist that I was making fun of Vaush for being lazy, when he constantly makes fun of people for being R-worded or for being deranged or stupid. Damn it, I can't find it. Anyways. Hey, Catgirl Maddie. Sadly, or maybe fortunately, you missed the good stuff. You know, I almost want to go over this document because this is the whole thing, the whole document that details all the things he's done and said. It's not really relevant, but it's very funny. And I've actually personally updated this document with a lot of extra stuff that wasn't originally in it. And I'm also actually going to link this because this is the latest version, which details in more depth the kinds of things this guy has said and done. Where he talks about how he doesn't want people to harass her and stuff, which is just wrong. But yeah, I added a bunch of this, like how he said Poppy laid out the terms for apology. A direct apology, a willingness to learn about sexual boundaries, a long overdue break from sexual commentary and jokes and slur usage, criticizing others who endorse rapists, a 5-figure anonymous donation to a sex assault clinic, since he claims to make 6 figures, revocation of every time he has smeared me or any other victim involved, and seized using his website source code. Poppy once said she'd accept my apology if I completed some ridiculous list of tasks, which included donating to 10K to some charity or something. Stupid posturing. Didn't bother talking past that. Only so much I can do. What have you done, bro? You haven't done anything. You haven't done anything to rectify the whole idea of restorative justice. I'm just going to read this. Only so much I can do to Vaush is saying he's sorry and not doing anything else whatsoever to atone for his actions. And he calls Poppy, the victim setting the terms of restorative justice, stupid posturing. This should not be controversial to say, but the sexual harasser does not set the terms of the apology. None of Poppy's terms as seen above were unreasonable or over the top, except maybe the last one, and that of course depends on I lied about Cake's opinion on the matter. Given the fact that Vaush was apparently already making 6 figures from streaming at the time that Poppy made the request, it is ridiculous to suggest that Vaush donating 10K to a sexual assault clinic was an unreasonable suggestion. This is like the most reasonable demand for an apology ever. Like, this is so not a big deal, especially when, again, Vaush was making 6 figures a year at the time. Anyways, maybe I'll go over this doc some other time. It's a fucking doozy. But yeah, that's the video. And anyways, I would appreciate any sort of financial support through subscribing through a membership or on Patreon. Either way, you get early access to my videos and other cool perks. Yeah, I would be willing to look at other things, but I kind of just want to make this stream and leave it as it is. So just I can direct people to this if they want to see the full reaction or whatever. But yeah, so I think I'm probably gonna end it here. And it's quite the experience. I don't even know what to say. I'm just so fucking exhausted listening to this guy. Honestly, I'm making a series of clips where it's just Vaush agreeing with you. Yeah, I do that a bit in the video I made. Yes, please join the Cumhead Club. Vaush was making 6 figures in 2019, okay? Vaush was making fucking 6 figures 4 years ago. Join the Chemhead Club. Support me. Everything helps. $1, $2, whatever. Boy, that video was a doozy. It sure was. What was your favorite moment? Mine was when Vaush said that tankies are more delusional than QAnon people. Sorry, I had to check something. Anyways, I'm gonna head out. Solidarity. It has been my niche to watch well-read and intelligent Chad Marxists debunk people like Vaush. Hell yeah. Mine was when he just admitted it to tokenizing Black Panthers, but in different words, and his chat did not notice it. Yeah, he totally tokenizes them completely. It's very funny. Anyways, heading out. It was fun, I guess, sort of. Kind of. Not really. And I will see you guys later.